We're in asset accounting. Okay, Chandrasekhar. So this week asset accounting will be over. So in the previous class, we have seen what is period control methods. So the step number 13, maintain depreciation key. Please put heading in the notes. Depreciation key. Depreciation key. The depreciation key, heading in the notes is depreciation key. The depreciation key contains all the parameters necessary to calculate depreciation. The depreciation key contains all the parameters necessary to calculate depreciation. Yeah, good morning, Madhusudan. The depreciation key is assigned. The depreciation key is assigned in the asset master record. The depreciation key is assigned in the asset master record. Then the system calculates the depreciation according to the values defined in that depreciation key. According to the values defined in that depreciation key. In every depreciation key, just one second. Yes, in every depreciation key, we assign the multi-level methods, period control methods, and we define the depreciation type. We define depreciation type, the class of depreciation, the phase of depreciation, etc. The phase of depreciation, etc. We can define any number of depreciation keys. We can define any number of depreciation keys. every depreciation key should be activated. Every depreciation key should be activated. See, in order to enable the system to calculate depreciation, we need some values. All these values are assigned in the depreciation key. Then the depreciation key is assigned in the asset master record later on. So as a result, when the user executes the depreciation run, the system calculates depreciation on that asset according to the values defined in the depreciation key. What are the values defined in the depreciation key? I will be going and showing you now. Transaction code AFAMA. Chart of depreciation 3366. When you start the practice for the first time in the day in asset accounting, the system will ask you for the chart of depreciation. So whenever the system is asking you the chart of depreciation, you enter your chart of depreciation and click on enter. Click on new entries. Depreciation key is equal to ABC1. Give some name. Just like that I have given ABC1. And description is not there. Description is equal to straight line method 5%. Straight line method 5%. Period control according to fiscal years. Period control. Select period control according to fiscal years. Select depreciation to the day. Click on save. And ignore the messages. See, there is no phase 1 yet for the depreciation key ABC1 and ABC1 enter base method. So these two parameters we define in the next screen. So just ignore the messages. Now, what is this period control according to fiscal years? You have to interpret like this. Period control according to fiscal years means at the time of calculating depreciation, the user enters the period number only. Then the system calculates the depreciation for that many number of days in that period, and the depreciation is posted by the system on the last day of that period. Suppose if you enter 01, 01 may be January, or it may be April, or it may be July, or it may be September, sorry, it may be October. In that case, for which month the system calculates depreciation? It should be controlled by fiscal year variant. So based upon the fiscal year variant, the system understands for which month period number 01 stands for. Here, if you are using the fiscal year variant K4, 01 stands for January. If you are using the fiscal year variant V3, 01 stands for April. So when the user enters the period number 01, when you are using the fiscal year variant K4, system calculates depreciation for 31 days because January contains 31 days. So the system calculates depreciation for 31 days and the depreciation is posted on 31st March. That is the meaning of period control according to fiscal years. Then depreciation to the day. Depreciation to the day means the system calculates the depreciation in the case of sale, retirement, transfer and scrapping up to the date specified by the user. That is called asset value date. So this is necessary to calculate whether we have done the profit or loss in the case of sale, scrapping and transfer, etc. Double click on assignment of calculation methods. Click on new entries. Depreciation type, ordinary depreciation. So this depreciation key can be used only for ordinary depreciation, right? Do one thing, write this point here. You have some space here, no? Please write down there. The separate depreciation keys are to be defined for each depreciation type. for each depreciation type. Means for special depreciation, we have to define separate depreciation key. For ordinary depreciation, we have to define separate depreciation key and so on. Phase is equal to from the start of depreciation. Phase is equal to from the start of depreciation. Base method 0014. Base method 0014. Base method I will explain. Right. First, let us do the base method 0014. Period control 006. This is what you have defined. Right. We have defined the period control 006, which contains the keys which determine how the depreciation has to be calculated in the case of acquisitions, additions, transfers, and retirements. Multi-level method AB1. Multi-level method AB1. If you remember, in the multi-level method AB1, we defined that base value 01, that is acquisition value, and percentage 5%. That multi-level method AB1 was assigned in the depreciation key. Later on, the depreciation key ABC1 will be assigned in the asset master record. Then period control method 006, multi-level method AB1, base method 0014 will be applied on that asset. Again, I will explain you this and will give you the notes at the time of creating asset master records. Then class is equal to straight line depreciation. Click on save. Click on back arrow twice, 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Select ABC1 depreciation key. Click on activate button. I told you, every depreciation has to be saved in the active mode. Click on save. Now let us create one more depreciation key. Click on new entries. Depreciation key ABC2. Depreciation key ABC2. Description, written down value method 5%. Description is not there, please add it. Period control according to fiscal years. Select depreciation to the day. Click on save. Ignore the messages. Double click on assignment of calculation methods. Click on new entries. Depreciation type ordinary depreciation. Phase is from the start of depreciation. Base method 0014. Period control method 006. If you press on F4, you can see the period control methods defined for our chart of depreciation. Multi-level method AB2. Class is declining balance depreciation. In your material, one second, Srinivas. In your material, straight line depreciation is there, right? You strike it off and you make it as declining balance depreciation. Why declining balance depreciation? In the multi-level method, we have defined that the base value 24. 24 means net book value. Base value, net book value means written on value method. So we select class declining balance depreciation. In your material, straight line depreciation is there. You strike it off. Click on save. Click on back arrow twice. Not twice, I'm sorry, 4 times. Click on back arrow 4 times. Select the ABC2 depreciation key. Click on activate button and save. Now in your material, you strike off these 2 lines. Yes, Srinivas, tell me.
Sir, multi-level method in the first step we have given AB1, sir.
Yes.
And while giving depreciation key ABC1 and description we have given a straight line method 5%.
Yes.
So here percentage is percentage should be seen in multi-level method and in the description. So,
No, 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 no. See, it depends upon your requirement. Here, in the multi-level method, I told you that for each combination of depreciation method and rate, we have to define one multi-level method. Suppose your client is having 50 assets, right? On 10 assets, it is using straight line method 5%. On 10 and another 10 assets, it is using return on value method 5%. On some other assets, it is using straight line method 6%. On some other assets, it is using return on value method 12%. So, in that case, you have to maintain four multi-level methods. AB1, straight line method 5%. AB2, straight line method, return on value method 5%. AB3, example only I am telling you. AB3, straight line method 6%. AB4, return on value method 12%. Like that, for each combination of depreciation method and rate, first we define the multi-level methods. So here, in the ABC1, why I assigned AB1, straight line method 5% is, on some of the assets we are using straight line method 5%. In ABC2, on some of the assets I am using straight line return on value method 5%. So that's why I assigned like that.
okay,
Now, here I have entered base method. What is the function of this base method? Right? What is the purpose of this base method? Here, the base method contains the general parameters which are necessary to calculate depreciation. See, while I am going to show you the path where we define the base methods, but here I have taken the system defined base methods, right? Here, the base methods are defined in this particular path. SPRO, financial accounting, asset accounting, valuation, no, not valuation, depreciation, yes, asset accounting, depreciation, ordinary depreciation, no. After depreciation, we have valuation methods. Green tea, sir. Valuation methods, depreciation key, calculation methods, define base methods. See here. In this step, you maintain base. I clicked on help documentation. Base methods are valid in all chart of depreciation. Means if you define one base method, that can be used by all the company codes. You assign base methods to depreciation keys. Normally, base methods supplied by SAP are sufficient. That's why I did not define the own base method. So what are the activities you do in the definition of base methods? Enter a technical name and description for the base method. Maintain the base method. It is particularly important to enter a depreciation type and depreciation calculation method. So these are the two parameters that are defined in the base method. But what is this base method exactly? Here, you give one identification, give the description, right? Then, for which type of depreciation you want to use this base method, that you have to define here. Then, depreciation method, very, very important. Now, here we defined that we have defined two multi-level methods. One is straight line method 5%. Another is straight line method, return on value method 5%. Straight line method 5% means what? The expected life should be 20 years, right? But here, the expected life of the asset is 10 years, but still I have specified that straight line method 5%. That is quite possible. Then at the end of the 10 years, what will be the book value of the asset. Suppose the acquisition value of asset is 1 lakh. Expected life is 10 years. Then we decided to depreciate that asset, straight line method 5%. Now by end of 10 years, 50% of the value of the asset still will be there, right? That's why what I want to do sometimes is, I want the system to determine the depreciation percentage based on the expected life. Then here you can select the first one. That is called depreciation method. Percentage from the useful life. Percentage from the useful life. So where do we enter the useful life? In the asset master record. I will show you where do we enter the expected life. So based on the expected life, the system automatically determines the depreciation percentage from the useful life. Then stated percentage. Stated percentage. Stated percentage means you have to define the percentage separately in the multi-level methods. Then number of units divided by remaining units. Generally we don't use this, and sometimes you may want to use sum of the years digits method of depreciation. In that case you can select this. And in the case of mining companies, see, number of units divided by total number of units. Means in the case of mining companies, the depreciation on the plant and machinery are to be provided by multiplying the total acquisition value of the asset with the number of units extracted divided by total number of units. That is called units of measurement depreciation. So like that, based on your requirement, the depreciation methods are defined here. And these depreciation methods are already defined in the system. You cannot define your own depreciation methods. Then, treatment at the end of the depreciation. Depreciation after planned life end means do you want to depreciate the asset after the end of the useful life? If it is no, you enter no. If it is yes, you enter yes. Depreciation below net book value 0 means if you want to depreciate the asset into minus values, no. Generally it is not allowed. So these are the general parameters that are defined in this particular base method, right? Now, in our depreciation key, we assign the base method 0014, ordinary explicit percentage at the end of the life. So what are the parameters that are defined in this base method 0014? You select this 0014, click on details button. See, ordinary explicit percentage after the end of the life, type of depreciation, ordinary depreciation method, stated percentage. Means what? Here, as I said, the acquisition value of an asset is 1 lakh. And the expected life is 10 years. And we are using straight line method 5%. In that case, by the end of 10 years, how much of the value of the asset will have been depreciated? Only 50%. 10 years into 5 every year, right? 50%. So at the end of the year, still there is a remaining value of 50%. What to do with the remaining value? I want to decide at that time. So I want to rate it off at 25% per year. If I am expecting that plant and machinery may still work for 4 years still. That is called stated percentage. So explicit percentage means you have to specify separately. That is the meaning of explicit. That's why just like that I used 0014. Clear? Now, determine depreciation areas in the asset class. What is the depreciation area? I told you that the purpose for which the depreciation is calculated is called depreciation area. In every asset class, you may have to calculate depreciation for different purposes. Planned depreciation or book depreciation means for the purpose of preparing financial statements, you may have to calculate depreciation. Then for the purpose of submitting income tax returns, you may have to calculate depreciation. Again, for the cost accounting purpose, you may have to calculate depreciation. Like that, for investment allowance determination purpose, you may have to calculate depreciation. Like that, for different purposes, we may have to calculate depreciation. So we have to you have to specify for which purpose you want to calculate depreciation in every asset class. That is called determine the depreciation areas in the asset class. So this particular step has to be done in every asset class. Transaction code OAYZ. Select the asset class. Select land within brackets asset class. Select the land within brackets asset class. So what is our land asset class? 3366L, right? You can scroll down, otherwise you can use position button. Double click on depreciation areas. See, we have kept only book depreciation area in our chart of depreciation, right? So it is showing only one depreciation area. So for the depreciation area 1, that is book depreciation, area deactivation was defaultly selected. Means, look at the screen please. In the asset class 3366L, book depreciation area was deactivated. So if you want to calculate depreciation on the land class for the purpose of preparing financial statements, deselect deactivation checkbox. By deselecting deactivation checkbox, the book depreciation area is activated. Click on save. Sorry, screen layout 2000. So screen layout 2000 means if you press on F4, see depreciation on asset subnumber level means the book depreciation area is activated on the subasset number level. Means the book depreciation area is automatically activated on the main asset also. So that's how we activate the depreciation area in every asset class. But here, the thing is, we never calculate depreciation on the land. Then why we have to activate book depreciation on the land class? Put heading in the notes. Note. Do one thing. Note. Under that, determine depreciation areas in the asset class. The subheading is determine depreciation areas in the asset class. It is mandatory to activate minimum one depreciation area. It is mandatory to activate minimum one depreciation area in every asset class. Sorry, it is mandatory to activate minimum one depreciation area in every asset class to create asset master record. That is why we have activated book depreciation area in the land class, even though the depreciation is not calculated, on the lands. Clear? So even though we don't calculate depreciation on the land, but we have to maintain the master record for the every land, no? That's why if you want to maintain a master record in every asset class, on that asset class, minimum one depreciation area has to be activated. Otherwise, it will not allow you, the system will not allow you to create the asset master record. Continue. But whether to calculate depreciation or not to calculate depreciation is controlled by depreciation key. In order not to calculate depreciation on the land master records, on the lands, we assign the system defined depreciation key 00004 zeros. We assign system defined depreciation key which stands for no depreciation. See here, on the land, we should not calculate depreciation. No? So in the system already, one depreciation key was defined, which is 0000. So this depreciation key stands for no depreciation. So we should not calculate depreciation on the land. That's why at the time of creating the land master record, we assign this depreciation key in the land. Then the system will have to calculate depreciation. Now clear why we have activated 01 book depreciation area in the land class. Now see the next line in the material. Repeat the above step for all other asset classes. Suppose if you have 50 asset classes, see, it is not legally required to reflect the appreciated value of the assets in your balance sheet. It is not legally required to display appreciated value of your assets in the balance sheet. That's why there is no question of taking into consideration appreciation in the land value. But it is necessary only in case of reconstruction. Okay, Anil? For the purpose of preparing financial statements, it is not necessary to take into consideration the appreciation in the fixed assets. Because the appreciation in the fixed assets will not happen because of your operational performance. Now, click on back arrow twice. After land, we have buildings, right? Select the buildings class. Double click on depreciation areas. Deselect deactivation checkbox. Screen layout 2000. Click on save. Now you have to activate book depreciation area in the plant and machinery class. Click on back arrow twice. Select 3366P plant and machinery. Double click on depreciation areas. Deselect deactivation checkbox. Screen layout 2000. Click on save. Click on back arrow twice. After plant and machinery, we have furniture. Select 3366 furniture. Double click on depreciation areas. Deselect deactivation checkbox. Screen layout 2000. Click on save. Now you have to activate on the vehicles. Click on back arrow twice. Select 3366V vehicles. Double click on depreciation areas. Deselect deactivation checkbox. Screen layout 2000. Click on save. Click on back arrow twice. Select 3366 AUC. Double click on depreciation areas. Deselect area deactivation checkbox. Screen layout 2000. Click on save. See the next step. Specify document type for posting depreciation and number ranges for document type. So when the system calculates depreciation, accounting entries are posted. To identify that accounting entry is related to depreciation calculation, we have one document type AF. So for AF, you have to define the number ranges. Transaction code OBA7. Click on position. Document type is equal to AF. Click on enter. Select AF document type. Click on details button and observe the number range number 04. Click on number range information. Company code 3366. Click on change intervals. Click on insert line. Number is equal to 04. Year is equal to 2017. From number. Maximum number we have used till now is 9 lakhs. So you have to use the number after 9 lakhs. Number is equal to 9 lakh 1 to number 10 lakhs. Click on save and enter. See the next step. Specify intervals and posting rules. So how frequently you want to calculate depreciation? Every month you want to calculate, or every 2 months you want to calculate, or every quarter, or every 6 months, or every year. You have to specify in the software. That is called specify interval. How frequently you want to calculate depreciation. Transaction code OAYR. Select your company code. So select your company code means you can scroll down, otherwise you can use position button. Select your company code. Double click on posting rules. Select monthly posting. Select monthly posting. So in your material, after double clicking on posting rules, you strike up the second line. Select 01 book depreciation and click on details button is there, right? You strike up the second line, please. Okay. Click on save. Then see the step number 17. Specify rounding of net book value and or depreciation. Means if the depreciation, when the system calculates depreciation, and if the depreciation amount comes in decimal values, do you want to round it off or not? If you want to round it off, you have to define this step. If you don't want to round up the decimal value, you need not do this step. So transaction code OAYO. Transaction code OAYO. See, in the previous step, select a monthly posting, click on save. Now, specify rounding of net book value under depreciation. Select your company code. Means you can scroll down, otherwise you can click on position. Select 3366. Double click on rounding off specifications and you strike off the second line again. In the material, you strike off the second line. Select 01 book depreciation. Select details button. You strike it off, please. It's only printing mistakes. Typing mistakes. Select automatically calculated depreciation. Select arithmetic rounding. Select arithmetic rounding. In your material, select round to nearest whole is there, right? It's not round to nearest whole. It is arithmetic rounding. It is arithmetic rounding. So, what is the arithmetic rounding? If the decimal value comes more than 0.5, 1 unit is added. If the decimal value is less than 0.5, then that part is deleted. That is the meaning of arithmetic rounding. Then click on save. See the next step. Define screen layout for asset master data. What is the screen layout for asset master record? Which fields are to be displayed separately, which fields are to be suppressed, which fields are to be required entry. That is called screen layout for asset master data. Means field status for asset master data. Here you are going to understand now what is the function of the screen layout tool. If you remember, in every asset class, we assign the respective screen layout tool, right? Now you are going to understand what is the function of that screen layout tool. Here, while doing the step, I will explain again. Okay. So in the land class, you assign 1000. In the buildings class, you assign 1100. In the plant and machinery class, you assign 2000 and so on, right? If you remember. If you don't remember, go back to the material and look at that. Step number 6 or 7 is there. SPRO, financial accounting, asset accounting, master data, screen layout, define screen layout for asset master data. Double click on define screen layout for asset master data. See, we assigned screen layout tool 1000 in the land class, right? I told you that the screen layout tool contains some fields. For that matter, every screen layout tool contains same fields. So select 1000 real estate or land. Double click on logical field groups. Here, this 1000 screen layout tool contains some individual fields. All these fields are again subcategorized. They are called logical field groups. So the fields, check your internet connection, Mr. Chandrasekhar, because others are feeling okay with my voice. So the fields in the screen layout tool 1000 are subcategorized, which are called logical field groups. So select the 1000, double click on logical field groups. I am going to take you to the logical field groups now. So 17 groups are there. And these groups you cannot define your own. They are already system defined. According to the material, select posting information. Double click on field group rules. See, in the posting information logical field group, these are the fields. For every field, required, optional, not required. So according to the material, select required entry option against calculation date for main number sub number copy. Click on save. What is the meaning of this? Here in the screen load rule 1000, we selected calculation date as required entry. Then this screen load rule was assigned in the land class, right? As a result, at the time of creating the land master record, the user has to enter compulsorily calculation date. Means the calculation date field becomes mandatory field. Other fields will be shown as optional, right? Some other fields will be shown as suppressed. That's how the field status for land master records is controlled by land class through screen load rule 1000. Now clear, no? What exactly is the function of screen load rule? Now we selected main number sub number copy. Means at the time of creating the main asset master record, calculation date should be maintained. At the time of creating subasset, calculation date should be maintained. Should be. Then at the time of creating another asset, by copying from another asset, in that case also calculation should be maintained. Clear? Click on back arrow. Select 3 time dependent data. Double click on field group rules. Select business year as required entry. And in the material, I have written one sentence. Ensure that all other fields are optional. See, actually, in the real time, based on the requirements of the information to be maintained, what are the fields that are to be compulsorily maintained? For those fields, we select required. For example, if you select a plant as required entry, because you have the land, that land is related to a particular plant. In that case, I want to maintain to which plant this land belongs. That information required to be maintained by the user. In that case, you select a plant as required entry. So like that, based on the information requirements of the management, you select those fields as required entry. Here I told you that to ensure all other fields as optional, because for example, if you select a plant as required entry, at the time of creating land master record, compulsorily you have to maintain the plant. But the plant is the organization unit in logistics, that is MM. So we have not yet completed MM integration. So plant is created in MM. That's why in order not to create any problem while creating asset master records, I told you to select all other fields as optional. Clear? Click on save. What is calculation date? Why you have to maintain the calculation as required entry? Capitalization date is the date from which you start using the fixed asset. Capitalization date is the date from which you start using the asset. So the depreciation is always to be calculated from the calculation date only. So we have selected calculation date as required entry in the screen load rule, which was assigned in the land class. But we don't calculate depreciation on the land now. Even though we don't calculate depreciation on the land, the management wants to know the information from which date you have started using this land. Clear? And again, you have to repeat this step for all the asset classes. Repeat this step for all asset classes. Click on back arrow twice. In the buildings class, we have assigned 1100, right? So select 1100 buildings class. Double click on logical field groups. Select to posting information. Double click on field group rules. Select calculation rate as required entry for main number sub number copy. Click on save. These are system default settings actually. Click on back arrow. Select 3 time dependent data. Double click on field group rules. Select business as required entry for main number sub number copy. Click on save. Now you have to do it for plant and machinery class. Click on back arrow twice. In the plant and machinery class, we have assigned 2000 screen load rule. Select 2000 general machines. Double click on logical field groups. Select 2 posting information. Double click on field group rules. Select calculation as required entry for main number sub number copy. Click on back arrow. Select 3 time dependent data. Double click on field group rules. Select business as required entry and all other fields as optional entry. Click on save.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
yes, Srinivas.
This area main number, sub number, and copy not selected.
You select, no issues. Right? Now, the most important thing I am going to explain you now. Here, on the plant and machineries, we are doing insurance to protect them against the risks. Now, in every plant and machinery master record, I want to maintain the insurance policy number. I mean, cover note number, insurance cover note number, the insurance company with which you have done that insurance, what is the insured value. So, these 3 pieces of information I want to maintain in every plant and machinery master record relating to insurance. Right? Suppose if the fire accident occurs, you have to claim insurance on the plant and machinery, no? So immediately we should know what is the insurance cover note number with whom you have done the insurance, what is the insurance premium you have paid. That information should be available immediately in the master record, right? For that, you see, logical field group 8 deals with insurance fields, insurance related fields. Select this, double click on field group rules. See, insurance policy number, make it as required entry. Insurable value, make it as required entry. Sorry, not this one. Insured base value, this one. Then insurance company, select them as required entry. Now it should be very, then at the time of creating this plant and machinery master record, all these 3 fields will become mandatory fields. So even if the user forgets to enter the information of insurance policy number, system will not allow the user to create the master record for plant and machinery. Clear, no? So this is how the field status for asset master records is controlled by asset classes through screen load rules. Remaining things we will see tomorrow. Probably by day after tomorrow, asset accounting will be over. After that, we will see how to prepare balance sheet and P&L account. Akila, you have any questions? Anil, Gadilingam, Jerisha, Himasaleja, okay. Madhusudan, okay. Chandrasekhar,
Sir, purchase tax, sales tax, withholding tax, దీని తర్వాత తీస్తారా సార్?
purchase tax, sales tax will be covered in integration.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay, sir.
TDS we don't cover in this class because there are the people from different parts of the world. So TDS is not applicable in every country, right? But I will send you some material along with the screenshot with the TDS in India.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Roni, you have any questions? Okay. Srinivas, okay, Khalid, I'm sorry, I forget. Srinivas, okay, Roni. Okay, Srinivas. Tejasvi, okay. Okay, then see you tomorrow same time. Good night and good day.